Mae-Gwyn here. Today I'm going to be going over about how I make ponytails in a wig that is not meant to have ponytails in. As you can see in this wig, I have already put some braids in this wig, and I wanted to show you guys just the how the wefting is in the back. You can still see the wefts right there, and that's not very attractive when you're trying to take a really awesome picture of the back of your costume and you can see these poking through. I am going to go over how I managed to make ponytails in this kind of a wig. So the tools that you will need a comb, preferably a wide tooth comb. This one is not very wide, but it's the widest one that I have in my possession right now compared to something like this. This would be something more for human hair. The next thing you'll want are two hair elastics. Obviously, if you're putting either braids or pigtails in a wig, you kind of want something to hold those in place. You'll also want some clips to help you hold the hair in place when you're working with it and moving things around. So let's get started, shall we? So as you can see, I've taken out all the braids that I put into this wig. And you'll notice that even though it was in braids, I still have some knots that have accumulated. So I'm just going to comb out the wig first, and then I'll get started with the styling. I like to take my wig when I'm combing it, and I like to split it into either 3 or 4 parts. Today I'm going to do it into 3 parts. And I'll comb each part separately. It's very useful to have some sort of stand that you can put your wig on, whether it be a stand. This one is from artawigs.com. It is really useful and pretty cheap. You don't necessarily need a stand like this. If you have, let's say, a soda pop bottle filled with water, that can work just as well. So when I'm combing my wig, I tend to work from the bottom down first, and I tend to comb on both the back, this, and on the front, just to try and get all those knots out. And if I manage to get into a really big knot, that's when I start into my fingers and I start trying to play with them. When you finished combing out one section, I find it useful to take your clip just so that you can separate it from the rest of the hair. See here, I have a pretty nasty knot in between my sections. So I'm just gonna take my fingers and I'm gonna slowly ease the knot out. You don't want to do any sort of hard tugging on these fibers because this is not real hair, so the fibers won't break. They're pretty flexible, and that'll cause kinks in the hair, in the hair fiber, and that does not look very pretty. Wig is fully combed, and now it's time to put in the ponytails. So what I like to do, remember how we split it into 3 parts when we were combing our wig? I like to do it with this as well, but instead of splitting it into 3 equal parts, take a really thin piece down the middle of your wig and just separate the sides from it. And this is where you're going to use your clips. Use one clip on this side, hold that in place, trace a thin line down there. You also want to make sure that you get the back wefts in this. So split those as well. And take your other clip and hold that in place. There you go. Now you have your 3 parts. this part is the part that we're actually going to be styling with in order to cover up the wefts. So you're going to start by taking a thin piece near the top on one side, separate it and make sure there's no knots in it, and you're going to gently cross it over. Here, a little bit less on the side. You're going to gently cross it over, and you're going to bring it underneath the current ponytail and bring it in front and just clip it. So you're bringing it underneath and around and then clipping it. Let's try the other side now. So again, take a small part, make sure there's no knots in it. And we're gonna bring it underneath and around. And we're just going to continue all the way down the length like this until we get to the base of the wig. Now we're down to the last bit of hair here. We're just going to split that. And in order to hide the wefts that are showing on the bottom here, we're going to bring these ones, let's split that a little bit more, we're going to bring these ones up and in front. Just hold that there. Same here. Up and in front. So now we've got it pretty much split down the middle. We still have to do a little bit of work on it because it's a little messy and weird. So we're just gonna take one at a time. Let's go with the one on the right first. We're just gonna hold it at the base, let go of the clip, and we're just going to smooth out those creases with our fingers. Make sure you bring your fingers all the way down the length of the hair to get those knots out. Now that we've done that, we're just going to put the elastic on. A little bit, take your comb and just clean up the mess. And there you have it. Your twin tails. As you can see, there's still a bit of wefting showing on the bottom, but it is much less compared to what we saw before. Now, if you're gonna keep this wig in storage and you want to kind of get it out of the way, I would suggest you braid these tails and then you curl them up and put them in the wig. So I'm just going to braid them. This wig is gonna stay on the wig head, but I still want to keep the tails nice and not free. So I know that this tutorial I made low ponytails, and it's relatively easier to do that because you can hide more underneath and you don't have to worry so much about wefts showing underneath the wig here. But this tutorial can also be used for higher ponytails. You just, instead of waiting to the last layer of wefts to kind of come across and in front of the ponytail, you're gonna stop halfway and you're gonna switch from going behind to going in front. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos, click subscribe or like or even comment and see what kind of videos you would like to see. You can also follow me on Facebook if you don't already. I will put the link in the little description box below. I also have a DeviantArt page that I will put there as well. So if you have any suggestions for any future tutorial topics that I can do, feel free to leave me a message, and I'll see you next time.